Thank you for joining us today. It's Thursday, June 25th. We are holding our Metro Sports Authority Board of Directors meeting. We appreciate everyone participating. We're meeting today by electronic means pursuant to Governor Bill Lee's Executive Order 16. The item on today's agenda constitute essential business, and the meeting is being held electronically to protect the health, safety, and welfare of Tennesseans in light of the COVID-19 outbreak. Are there any objections? Today's meeting is being live streamed by WebEx. We want to thank Metro ITS, specifically Kevin Lyons, for their support. And as always, we appreciate Metro 3 for all the help that they provide making this meeting available. Please take note that decisions of the Sports Authority Board may be appealed to the Chancery Court of Davidson County for review. Any appeal must be filed within 60 days after entry of a final decision by the board. When I call your name, please unmute yourself to let us know you are on the call. Vice Chair Bender.
I'm present.
Director Nguyen. Director Bim.
Present.
Director Deering. Director Duncan.
Present.
Director Farner.
I'm present.
Director Gill.
Here.
Director Glassmeyer.
Here.
Director Harrison.
Here.
Director Hogan.
I'm here.
Director McGee. Director Page. Okay, looks like we have 8 directors in addition to myself participating today. We do have 2 new board members with us today, Don Deering and Glenn Farner. Colonel Deering is a former executive director of the National Guard Association of Tennessee and has served in the office of U.S. Representative Jim Cooper. Glenn Farner serves as business manager and secretary-treasurer of the Southeast Laborers District Council, a 7-state district affiliate of the Laborers International Union of North America. They were both appointed by Mayor Cooper and were confirmed by the council in May. Welcome, guys. First up, we have consideration of our meeting minutes from our April 16th, 2020 meeting. You should have received the minutes on Friday. Are there any questions, comments? We would entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Who will approve?
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and seconded. Is there any discussion? All in favor to approve the minutes, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
I don't hear any objections. So we will note that the meeting minutes have been approved, and for all other board actions, we will go through and take a roll call vote for purposes of transparency since we're meeting electronically. All right, so now to some fun stuff. We have a special guest joining us today, Tennessee State University Athletic Director Theresa Phillips. She's retiring from TSU after 18 years of dedicated service to the university, its athletes, and coaches. It's appropriate that the Metro Sports Authority honor her, not only because of our relationship with TSU, but also because of the impact she's had on our local and national sports landscape. And there's no one better to introduce her than our Vice Chair, her Vanderbilt teammate, Kathy Bender. Kathy?
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good morning. It is my honor to introduce Coach Theresa Phillips, retiring athletic director of Tennessee State University. Coach Phillips has been the proud leader of the Big Blue Tigers of Tennessee State University since 2003. I've had the privilege of knowing Coach Phillips personally for over 40 years. First as a Lady Commodore teammate and later as a Lady Commodore assistant coach, both at Vanderbilt University. Coach Phillips has blazed a trail for women in sports for decades and received numerous accolades. She was the first woman to coach an NCAA Division I men's basketball team. And in 2003, she was named one of the 101 most influential women in sports by Sports Illustrated. And in 1990, she was named National Coach of the Year by USA Today, to name a few. So on behalf of the citizens of Nashville and the Metropolitan Sports Authority Board, we congratulate Coach Theresa Phillips on her retirement and thank her for her many contributions to sports and to the city of Nashville. Please join me in welcoming my friend, Coach Theresa Phillips.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Chair of the Sports Authority. This is, I think I'm just gonna say, I'm almost feeling like I'm old now, but I'm very, very appreciative. I'm very thankful. I've had a great run here in Nashville. As Kathy mentioned, as a Lady Commodore, as a teammate, I'm a little older than Kathy. I don't want to age Kathy. But we had a great opportunity, both of us, to play for a university here in the city. I ended up coaching at 3 universities here in the city, at Vanderbilt, my alma mater, at Fisk University, and for about 11, 12 years at Tennessee State. And I'm just thankful for all the opportunities, all the relationships, including many with some of you here on the board of the Sports Authority. I'm going to miss those days down on the field at Nissan Stadium. Tennessee State has had just really an awesome opportunity to play in professional stadium because of the city and because of this board. And I hope that will continue for many years to come. But again, I'm just thankful. I'm appreciative. I take no acknowledgement and no kindness for granted. I will be in Nashville and hope to continue my work. I think I have a lot left to do, and God willing, I will be staying very active, working with young people, hopefully, and still trying to make Nashville a greater city and give opportunities like Kathy and I were given when we were younger. So thank you again, and I just really appreciate this recognition.
Thanks, Coach.
Can I be recognized? This is Margaret. Hello?
Well, I wonder if Tom is she might be having some technical difficulties.
I think we may have lost our chair. So this is Kathy. I will recognize you, Margaret.
AD Phillips, you are an inspiration to me and so many people in the community. And you overcame any fear you might have had and believed in yourself and traveled where others had not gone before. And I just want to thank you for becoming the sports legend you are. And thank you for being here today and for the great partnership the Sports Authority has had for so many years with TSU.
Okay, our chair has lost her connection. So I don't know if there's someone on the tech team who can assist us with that.
Okay, wait, I think I just,
She's back.
got it. Sorry about that. Were we able to see the video? Apologize for getting kicked off for a bit.
I think we haven't seen it yet. I think we are ready to start. Kevin, do you want to walk us through this piece?
So everyone will watch the video on their own. I'm going to mute everybody, so it's going to be shown in the right-hand corner of your screen. You have to accept that permission to watch it through Facebook. And I'm going to mute you, and you guys can watch it independently. And when you're done, we'll start the meeting over again. You should see a multimedia viewer on the right-hand corner of your screen.
Kevin? I'm not seeing it on my end. I'm not sure if the rest of the board can.
Yes.
I can't see it either, Kim.
Okay, I'm just happy I'm still connected. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so what we'll do is we will send out an email after the board meeting with a link to the video. And if in the meantime, through the agenda, that we have a ability to connect, we'll come back to it. Monica can interrupt me or whomever. But Theresa, thank you so much for your leadership, influence, and impact. It's certainly been a tremendous honor to watch you over the years, and we certainly all wish you the best. And I think at this time, we're going to flip it over to Monica to give the executive director's report.
Thank you, Chair, and good morning, everyone. As always, we really appreciate your time, and while Theresa is still on the call, I just want to say a big thank you, and I've had the privilege of working with Theresa for many years in my role here at the Sports Authority and also through the Sports Council. And Theresa, I just appreciate you so much as a person and as a leader, and I'm really thankful for the support that you've shown me through the years, and just look forward to watching your next steps, and thank you for your impact.
Thank you so much, and I'm going to get on off the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Monica?
Yes.
I believe the video is playing for some people.
Oh, okay. I'm not able to see it.
But I can't see it on my end, so maybe we'll just take a pause and...
Video options unavailable. That's what they have in the product.
Okay, well, we'll just continue on then. It's a great piece, and we're excited to have the opportunity to all see it. So we will be sure and share it with everyone after this meeting. Go ahead, Monica.
Unavailable.
Okay. Chair Adkins earlier welcomed our new members, and we are thrilled to have Dawn and Glenn on the board, and look forward to serving with you both over the years. With these appointments, we are back to a full board. We are finalizing committee appointments and facility liaisons, and we'll announce those in the coming weeks. You have the agenda before you.
Living good this week.
Oh, no. Oh, that's the agenda.
Oh,
Director Wynn,
can you hear me?
I can hear you. Would you mind just putting yourself on mute?
Okay, sorry.
No, it's okay. I don't want you to say anything you don't want us all to hear.
That's correct.
That's possible.
Okay.
All right. You have the agenda before you. Following a report from the Finance Committee Chair, the board will receive an MLS Stadium update from Mary Cavara. The authority will also consider making a recommendation that Metro extend its contract with Gobble Hayes in order to perform project management services related to the MLS Stadium. Finally, the board will receive facility updates from the Titans, the Predators, and the Sounds. Are there any questions about the agenda?
I don't need to do anything.
If not, that concludes my very brief report.
All right.
Thank you, Monica. Before we move on to the Finance Committee report, I do want to also acknowledge the service of our former director, Dudley West. Dudley served the authority with distinction. He had an eagle eye that will certainly be missed on Finance Committee. And he sent an email over a few weeks ago and asked me to share the following with the board. So I'm going to read a brief note from Dudley. I thoroughly enjoyed working with the members and staff of the Sports Authority and the representatives of the Predators, Titans, and Sounds, and Nashville SC. It was a great learning experience. Nashville is fortunate to have such a group of talented and committed people who work so well together for the common good. I wish you all the best in the future. So I'm sure many of you have Dudley's email, and I'm sure he would appreciate hearing from his former board members, and I know he's moving on to bigger and better things, but it was a joy to serve with him, and he will certainly be missed on the Finance Committee and on this full board. And at this time, we will move on to our Finance Committee report. The Finance Committee met last week, and I believe several of the board members attended as well. So at this time, we will have our committee report from our Finance Chairman, John Glassmeyer. John? John?
Can you hear me?
There you go.
Oh.
Yes.
I was on my phone and didn't realize it was also on the WebEx. Okay, so start again. Thank you, Madam Chair. The Finance Committee did meet last week, and we considered a resolution authorizing and approving an increase in expenses related to project management consulting services related to preliminary planning, design, and construction of the new MLS soccer stadium. The Finance Committee does recommend approval to the full board. Anything else? Any questions? Monica, anything you'd like to add?
I don't have anything specific. We've been working through this process. This additional authorization is being asked so that we can pay our project managers between now and the time that the revenue bonds are issued.
Chair Lady Adkins, this is Glenn Farner. I have a couple of questions, but I don't know if now is the time or if it's appropriate. You call the question. That doesn't change.
Kim, you want me to respond, or? I think questions are okay this time.
It's just more of a general question. Just obviously it's project management consulting services, but is this an increase of what was estimated before? Is that because of there's more work in the intended scope? Is it planning? What was the original scope? So, kind of what the amounts were before and after, that kind of thing.
Monica, do you want to reply?
Oh, yes. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, I can hear you, Monica.
Glenn, I think your question was, what was the original amount of the request and how has that changed over time? Is that what you're asking?
Yes, that's inclusive of that, but would it be an increase in the amount of work, an increase in the amount of time than was it originally? So why the increase and how much of an increase? I guess that's the question.
Okay. So the project management expenses will ultimately be paid out of the revenue bond. We had initially anticipated issuing bonds in February of 2019. We've not been able to do that, and because the project managers need to be paid, then we had requested that the board approve funds from the Arena Fund. When we initially came to the board in 2018, I think that request was for $75. And so as we've gone along and working with GHP, we came back to the board and asked for an additional $300,000, and then we'd come back again for another $300,000. So we had the board had authorized, I think, $675,000, and then this latest request was for an additional $350,000, which we hope will get us to the point where we are able to issue bonds. So it's a timing thing more than anything. The scope of work has not changed. We just had not anticipated needing to pay them from this particular funding source for this long.
Okay, so it's not necessarily an increase in the amount of work or an increase in unexpected kind of scope or time. It's the source of the revenue as it relates to being paid from the bonds, which aren't issued yet. Is that a correct assumption?
I think that's correct. And then once the bonds are issued, we will reimburse. It looks like Dawn Deering is on, and Director Deering, it looks like you're on twice. I'm not sure if that's the reason for the feedback, but maybe Kevin can help us with that piece.
Yeah, I muted him for now.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Joan and Monica. That answers my question. Sorry, I just didn't have that.
Okay, great. No, thank you for the question.
And yeah, he's going to, Mr. Deering, you'll have to end one of your sessions or it's going to be feedback. Yeah. Yeah. You're going to have to end one of your sessions there.
Okay, Finance Chairman Glassmeyer.
Yes, ma'am. So we recommend, are there any other questions, Margaret or Dan? Did you have anything to add?
Nothing to add on my end.
All right. Margaret, anything from you? I guess I'm hearing none. So, Madam Chair, the Finance Committee does recommend approval.
Okay. Okay. Let's all take a deep breath and laugh because it's
Chairperson.
But we do have a motion to approve it in front of us, and I think.
Kim?
Yes, Director Wynn.
Move for approval.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and properly seconded. We will go through a roll call vote. Unless there any further discussion. Director Bender?
I vote in favor.
Wynn?
Aye.
Bim?
Aye.
Deering? Maybe he dropped off. Duncan?
Aye.
Farner?
Aye.
Gill?
Yes.
Glassmeyer?
Yes.
Harrison?
Aye.
Hogan?
Aye.
McGee, I don't think is on, but if he is, he can vote now. Page? I saw that Director Page joined us. Okay, any? Opposed? So ayes have it, and the motion is approved. Does that conclude your report, John? We're going to assume so and move on. At this time, we will go to the Mls Stadium update. And I believe Mary Cavara of Ingram Industries will give us a brief update on the progress of the stadium. Mary, good luck.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm here today on behalf of Nashville SC and our ownership group. It also sounds like there's an echo, so maybe
muting myself.
Mute. Ian Ayer and I will provide a brief update on the MLS Stadium project and Nashville SC. And so I think we need to turn control over to Ian so he can pull up our slides. And while he's doing that, I'll share a couple remarks. Before we discuss the stadium update, we want to share a couple of items with the board. Nashville is a city where business, sports, and local government work together to get things done. I am very proud of our Ingram Charities team working with Nashville's pro sports teams, the Predators, Titans, Sounds, and of course, Nashville SC. They have joined together in support of teachers and education in Nashville. Our first collective endeavor is in support of Pencil Foundation's Together for Teachers. We look forward to the continued collaboration. And with that, Ian, if you could advance and we can start the video. Ian, you might be on mute. Okay, so given technology, you may wonder what, I'll be quiet now. And Ian, you may need to turn up the sound on the video clip itself.
Yeah, Mary, I can't hear anything. I'm not sure if other board members can or not.
I can't either, and it's one that maybe we can distribute afterwards, but basically each of the pro sports announcers has stepped together and made some remarks to encourage and support our Nashville MNPS teachers. That's really quite remarkable and great of everybody to pull together and to say thank you. The first phase of this project is starting on social media, and so this video clip is located on the Pencil Foundation's Facebook page, and we'll also send out a link. In addition to that, this pandemic has been extremely challenging, but with it, there's a few bright spots. And if you look at the right of the slide, you can see a few pictures of masks. And Tennessee Governor Bill Lee's Economic Recovery Group, led by Commissioner Mark Ezell, has developed the Tennessee Strong Mask Movement, partnering with more than 30 flagship brands to distribute 300,000 free or low-cost cloth face coverings. Nashville SC is participating by partnering with United Way to distribute 10,000 masks across Middle Tennessee to underserved communities and vulnerable populations. Our masks are available in 4 languages, and if anyone is affiliated with a nonprofit that would like to request the masks, I will provide the email contact for United Way to the folks at the Sports Authority, and feel free to follow up with them. Now, turning to the MLS Stadium. And this will be, next slide. So as you can see here, demolition has progressed nicely and is expected to be wrapped up by the end of this week. All of the construction bid packages have now been released, and construction will start in early July, with substantial completion targeted for mid-May 2022. We also remain committed to achieving and exceeding the DBE targets set for this project, and based on activities to date, we are on track with this very important objective, and will continue to have more reporting for the this committee. Ian, I think you have the wrong deck up. I think this was the draft one. My caveat is that, similar to any construction project, schedules may change as the work progresses. The budgeted construction cost of $335 million remain the same. We've now completed 100% of the construction drawings and are moving along nicely. We have spent approximately $20 million to date. All of this has been paid by the team. The invoices are submitted by the architect and the construction manager and their subcontractors. They're reviewed by CAA Icon, GHP, and CPS. In addition, each pay app is signed off by GHP, CPS, Monica, and me. Since we are paying these costs directly, we are reviewing them very closely. We're excited to get to this part of the project, we're excited to get this part of the project underway, and we'll be providing further information as it progresses. And Kevin, I think we're gonna need some help when we get to Ian's speaking part. I'll let you know when I finish, but he's not able to unmute, and I think that's why we couldn't hear the video clip. The revised stadium documents are now virtually complete, and we're waiting on the final sign-off from Metro Legal. As a reminder, there's 3 documents related to the stadium. There's the actual stadium lease that deals with the team use of the stadium, this facility is owned by the Sports Authority, just like all of the other professional sports venues. And then there's the development agreement and construction administration agreement, which basically govern the construction process. As you may know, the original documents were approved by the Sports Authority and Metro Council in 2018. This was when the stadium was in the early design stages. In February of 2020, the team agreed to a term sheet with the mayor's office. The primary change is in the stadium lease, and this is a change to Metro's benefit. The Metro backstop, which related to rent payments during the first 10 years of the lease, was removed. What this means is that if we never sold a ticket or collected any redirected sales tax, this total amount would have been $35 million over those 10 years. The documents will also have some minor changes due to the passage of time, and all the exhibits will be completed. We understand that these revised documents will need to be approved by the Sports Authority Board. I will now turn over the remainder of our presentation to the Chief Executive Officer of Nashville SC, Ian Ayre.
Can we hear Ian now? Ian, your mic's unmuted.
Hey, Mary, I'm trying to figure out if Ian can participate or not. What is the timing on the review of the documents? I mean, do we have
So, Kim, this is very real-time information. I know that our legal team sent some final language over to the Metro legal folks yesterday afternoon to try to finalize the last paragraph. I think that the imminent start of construction that most likely, and this is just me speaking, most likely a specially called meeting will be needed. And I also understand that the stadium lease will need to be approved by council, and at this point, we are targeting July approval for that. Ian, are you able to? We can barely hear you, Ian. Can you talk a little louder or fix your mic?
Everybody hear me now?
slightly?
Yeah, he probably, if he should.
Hello?
I think we're tempted.
Ian,
Let Ian speak. Go ahead.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Let me try and advance. So I wanted to cover a few things this morning, and apologies for the technical issues. So inside the stadium, we're really starting to fill out on the design side and creatively looking at the lounges. We have 3 major lounges in this facility. The first of these that I'm showing here will be the North Club, which has I would say, a Nashville honky-tonk type feel. Will be one of our 3 primary lounges. This really starts to give you a sense of the quality of the finishes and experiences that we're trying to create inside the stadium. And as I said, there are 3 of these. On the South Club, which is a mirror in terms of size, this club holds around about 650 people, as did the honky-tonk style. This is a sports bar, would be used on game day, but also available, we believe, a great facility for using for watch parties, whether that's for soccer, Predators, hockey, football, baseball, for other big events. So around about 650 in each of these 2 clubs. And then in the center line, our premium offering, this premium club here, which will be another level, I think, and really trying to build a very unique story for the stadium, trying to bring real first-class hospitality to the venue. And as I said, available both for game day for soccer, but also for other events, and either at the stadium or independent events in these lounges. On the team itself, I think it's pretty well publicized now that we will come back. MLS plans to return back to playing on July 8th. On July 1st, our team, who are now in full training, will travel down to Orlando. This will be a closed environment tournament, so all 26 teams of Major League Soccer traveling in market to Orlando in a cocooned environment, regular testing, everybody, players, staff, coaches, all cocooned inside the environment, the entirety of the tournament. 52 games over 6 weeks, all games on national television, with the final on August the 11th. So exciting times for the team. And throughout the COVID period, we've also been utilizing our EMLS player. This is a guy, his handle is the Duelster, Cormac Dooley. He's previously been #1 in the US as an esports player, ranked 10 this year, and will take part June 28th in the EMLS Cup, which is a national tournament, the winner of whom goes into a global tournament for EMLS or for e-soccer on the FIFA game. So exciting times on all those fronts. And then finally, I wanted to touch on the development we have going on around our youth academy. Our facilities out at Curry Ingram School are now almost completed, with the final portion of those being completed in October. And then way back in Thanksgiving of last year, we assembled our first group of youth players in the under 12 category for Nashville Soccer Club. So in that tournament in Atlanta, the group of kids you see on the display here were actually the first ever children, or our first ever players at all ages, to represent Nashville Soccer Club MLS in any tournament. They did Nashville and Tennessee proud. They played in 3 matches, having only assembled just weeks before. They beat Minnesota United. They drew with New York Red Bull and lost to Atlanta, but a really outstanding contribution as the first age group for our tournament. And then finally, touching on our academy, I just wanted to give you a sense of, this is a group of, there's 2 players here that we recruited into our academy. The 2 players are 2 adopted kids from Africa who are with a family in Nashville, and we got some video sent to us of the day when their parents told them that they'd been accepted into the National Academy. And I hope you can hear the audio when I play this, but really is a fantastic piece of content. So just hang on a second.
All right, got some news. Got an email today. 2 boys.
So I think you can agree, really exciting times for Nashville and Nashville Soccer Club. A fantastic opening day on February 29th. Great progress on our stadium. A youth academy providing free access for the best kids in the state of Tennessee and beyond. And we're all feeling good about coming back to soccer in July, and appreciate the opportunity to give you the update this morning.
Thank you, Ian, for getting us back on track and for that presentation. Do we have any questions for Mary or Ian at this time? Thank you. Next step, our agenda item is consideration of a recommendation that Metro extend its contract with Gobble Hayes Partners for the purpose of continuing to provide program project management consulting services related to the new Major League Soccer stadium and infrastructure project until completion of the work. Monica.
Thank you. So if you remember, when the board first engaged Gobble Hayes Partners to perform project management services, it didn't enter into its own agreement with the firm, but rather we piggybacked off of an existing contract that GHP had with Metro General Services. Their contract with Metro is set to expire August 26th. And my understanding is that General Services has made some adjustments to the scope of services that they're needing to procure. And so I've had multiple conversations with Metro Purchasing Director Michelle Lane and with Metro Legal. I mean, as you all know, we are 2 years into what is a very complex project. We've got another 2 years to go. And I mean, honestly, none of us think starting over with the new project manager is in the best interest of this project. So extending GHP's contract will require approval by ordinance of the Metro Council. Michelle Lane, again, Metro's purchasing director, says that she's agreeable to this as long as their scope of work is narrowed so that it only includes work related to soccer and infrastructure and just work at the fairground site. So we're not seeking to amend the value of their contract or the rates, but what we're really wanting to do is get a 28-month extension that would take us through December 2022 and allow them to complete the project. So legal is working to get the legislation filed, and of course the council will take this up because it is a Metro contract, but we do think it's important to have the Sports Authority on record as saying that it would like to see GHP's contract extended for the purpose of completing the project. So the resolution actually is, you all approved earlier, so that pertained to this particular item. There is not a resolution or a document. This is just a recommendation that we're asking the board to consider so that the authority is on record as saying, yes, we would like to see GHP's contract extended, and that's something that Metro Council would ultimately have to.
Okay, thank you, Monica. We've heard staff's recommendation. Is there a motion in support of the recommendation?
I have a question.
Yes, we're absolutely. I was just going to put it. We can get a motion in a second, and then we'll have any discussion. We'll probably put it before the board, but yes.
Yeah, my question has to do with the fact that the amount of the contract would not be extended. I think I see that GHP's 5-year contract was a $10 million limit, I believe, IDIQ type contracts.
That's correct.
And do you know if they have expended that amount or will have by the time the contract ends?
They will not. I believe they've expended about 3.25 million, maybe 3.5 million as of March. So we feel like we have plenty of availability under the current contract.
Okay. And you said Michelle Lane is working on or has worked on or completed the narrowing of the scope of work?
Michelle's recommendation, Michelle said, she said, I'm okay with moving forward as long as we narrow the scope. And so that's what we've done. There's an amendment request form that we are finalizing, and in that request form, we are asking that the scope be narrowed to include only work done at the fairground site.
Okay. Now, will this be a negotiation? Will GHP be in discussions with purchasing and perhaps legal regarding the work that they will be doing?
No, because it's an extension. We're just seeking an extension of the current contract.
Okay.
The scope would be narrowed, but everything else would stay the same.
I was just wondering. My thoughts were that GHP might see services that would be needed that have not been identified so far that could be put into the scope of work. And that's the reason I asked that. I don't know. Perhaps Ron could answer that question or comment on that.
Yeah. Ron?
Yes. I think what the proposal is that if it relates to the fairgrounds and something comes up on the fairgrounds campus, then this contract could be used for that. Wouldn't necessarily be used, but it could be used for that. There's beyond that, anything that's not related to the fairgrounds or the stadium or or the infrastructure project would not be allowed. Does that make sense?
Sure. I just wanted to know if you can foresee any services that you might provide that has not been discussed yet or not in your agreement, or if this IDIQ contract pretty much covers everything.
I think it covers everything intended for the fairgrounds. Again, that could happen there. It's my understanding that General Service is going to go out for another general solicitation for things away from this fairgrounds that replaces this contract. But like a lot of things, that's in process right now.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Gill. Are there any other questions for Monica or Ron?
This is Margaret. Is there a resolution that we are being asked to pass? There was a resolution up there, but I think it was what the Finance Committee had. So is this just a motion to extend, or is this the resolution? I'm confused as to...
No, you're right, Margaret. The resolution that was on the screen earlier was a separate issue that the Finance Committee took up and that the board approved earlier in the meeting. So there's not a resolution. This is a recommendation. And in my conversations with Tom Cross, he confirmed that, he said, because it's a Metro contract, there's really not anything else that the Sports Authority needs to do, but, going on record is helpful. I hope I answered your question.
Oh, you did? Yes, that was great. Thanks.
Monica, this is Glenn Farner. Do you know, kind of back to my original question was, and again, I don't have the prior institutional knowledge, but the costs for, I get that they were covered under an existing project management costs were covered under an existing contract, procurement contract that Metro had with this firm. What about the budget for those costs? It seems like those have changed. So I'm assuming that there was an overall budget for project management, a line item for project management that was included in the original budget approved for the MLS project.
There was, so because the project in some ways has evolved, and GHP, and of course we also have Capital Project Solutions that's providing some project management work as well, then we work together. And so what we've done is we've issued POs, then GHP has provided proposals, kind of broke them out into phases. We're still in the pre-bond issue phase. And so we've been really kind of looking at it in chunks of time. We've had some conversations in terms of what the total amount might be for project services for each of those firms. But, it has, it's just changed because the scope and the amount of work has changed at times. So we are, what we can do and what we're working on right now is a final number that would take us through the end of 2022 for the completion of the project. And it would be a not to exceed number. And so we'll come back with that number.
And Madam Chair, this is Mary Kavara, and Monica, if I could just add one clarifying note.
Please.
The treatment of these costs are prescribed in the development agreement, and they're also included as part of the overall stadium costs. And so, as Monica pointed out, that when the revenue bonds are issued, then Metro's representative with respect to the stadium, their costs will be reimbursed through that part, and then going forward, they would be covered by the proceeds of the bond.
My other question is there any knowledge that, thank you for that answer, but is there knowledge this Gobble Hayes Partners, Do we know if they're a minority or DBE firm or partners or anything like that?
They are woman-owned. Ron, I don't know if you want to speak further.
Yeah, GHP is a woman-owned firm. We're still in conversations about how this would extend out and minority participation. I think to answer your question about our overall budget and some of the numbers that we're seeing is still tracking online. We've had some extensions of time and some change in scope, but we're still negotiating that. And as we go forward and start developing these purchase orders that Monica discussed that will have to come back for approval, those we're looking at how to incorporate more minority participation and et cetera into those things. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, but thank you, and I appreciate it. I just, that whole, just seems like the work, whatever the thing is, that there doesn't seem to really be a budget or a ceiling at this point, and that, we're working on that goal, but we're not there yet. But thank you.
Madam Chair, it's Mary Kavar again, if I could just add another clarifying comment.
Yes.
So yes, there is a budget. It's for the overall stadium cost, and the management costs are just one element of the overall stadium cost. And based on the total estimates that were set early on, the amount fits within the overall cost. And as we continue to refine the various line items, we're adjusting it. And as you know, as we commented, the team is ultimately responsible for repaying 100% of the costs of the stadium, including all project management costs, which include these.
Thank you, Mary. All great questions. Do we have additional comments or questions? Hearing none. We would entertain a motion in support of the staff's recommendation.
Chairperson,
Yes, sir.
move for approval.
We have a motion by Director Nguyen. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and seconded. I'm not sure by whom.
Melvin Gill.
Thank you, Director Gill. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we will move to a roll call vote. Bender. Vice Chair Bender, are you on?
Yes, aye.
Nguyen?
Aye.
Jim? Margaret?
Aye. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Sorry. Aye.
Deering?
Aye.
Right, we heard you clearly. That's awesome. Okay, Duncan?
Aye.
Farner?
Aye.
Gill?
Yes.
Glassmeyer?
Yes.
Harrison?
Aye.
Gotcha, Councilman. Hogan?
Aye.
I don't believe McGee is on. Council Lady Page, how do you vote?
Council Lady Pacey to make sure her phone is not muted as well. I see her unmuting herself. Just make sure her phone or she's unmuted on WebEx. Make sure her phone is not muted.
Sure, lady.
Okay. She's muted herself again. I have to work with her offline to see what's going on with her audio, but I think something wrong with her phone.
Chair, can you hear us? Okay. Vice Chair, would you like to finish the roll call?
Monica, I think she dropped off. Something wrong with her connection. I think she dropped off. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, Monica, I don't have the list. I know we stopped at Council Lady Anna Page.
She just said she's trying to vote in the affirmative, but is struggling. There should be a listed roster. The roster should be at the top of the agenda if you can pull it up.
We're tight here.
I think she was the last. She was the last person. Yeah.
She is the last. Yes. Okay, so I guess I can move this motion forward. Seems like the ayes have it, so the motion passes.
All right.
Would you like for me to move forward in the agenda, Monica?
Yes, please.
Yes, please. Okay. So next we have facility updates.
And so we'll begin with Mls Stadium.
Okay.
Hi, Monica. This is President of Tennessee Titans and Nissan Stadium. We have a presentation if Kevin can pull that up.
And Burke, I just gave you presenter control so you can share your screen.
I have the impression that he sent it to you to put it up. I'm not sure I have it.
Yeah, this is Janine. I believe Alicia. Kevin, I need presenter.
Okay.
And there's some feedback, so I think somebody ought to be on mute.
I'll just do it tomorrow.
Here, I do have it. So I wanted to quickly cover three things with the board this morning. First, start off by covering some big and exciting changes to our business staff since the last meeting. I know there will probably be questions, so wanted to touch on the status of the 2020 Titans season. And then finally, I'll turn the presentation over to our Chief Marketing and Revenue Officer, Gil Beverly, to review the organization's community service initiatives and messaging, including those related to racial and social injustice. But I'll start with our staff changes. I forgot I'm presenting. So the first update is bittersweet. Our longtime President and CEO, Steve Underwood, retired from his position on May 1st. He will stay connected to us as a senior counselor, but he'll be spending most of his time with his family, enjoying the fruits of retirement from his Houston ranch and probably exotic vacation spots around the world. Steve has served the Oilers and Titans organization for over 30 years. He began working as a private attorney for Bud Adams in the 1970s, eventually transitioned to our general counsel, then chief operating officer, and 5 years ago, Amy Adams Strunk asked him to leave his first retirement to come back to our organization to serve as president and CEO. And he did just a remarkable job of steadying our organization and bringing it into the next generation. In Amy's statement announcing Steve's retirement, she described him as being one of the titans of the sports industry, given his 40 years of experience. And I think that's true. But I think he also deserves quite a bit of credit for his role on shaping the sports industry in Nashville in particular. I have had the pleasure of hearing Steve recount stories from his time working as general counsel in the effort to get the Titans, Oilers at the time, from Houston to Nashville. And I think it's pretty safe to say, without Steve's heroic efforts on clearing hurdle after hurdle during that process, there's a very good chance that the Titans don't actually arrive in Nashville. So we wanted to take the opportunity to give Steve a chance to say some final words to the Sports Authority. He will be around as senior advisor, but not quite as regularly. So Steve is on the call today.
Bert, thank you for all those kind remarks. I'm very grateful for the time that I have spent with the organization. I am currently vacationing outside Austin, Texas, with my family, my wife and 2 daughters, but just can't say enough good things about the Sports Authority and its leadership and what it has meant both to Nashville and to Middle Tennessee, and especially Monica and the hard work that she and the other executive directors have delivered over the last 25 years, and appreciate the good work, Kim and all the other Sports Authority members. And I am grateful for the opportunity to make a sort of goodbye and thank all of you for all that you've done these many years.
Thanks, Steve. So we will obviously miss seeing Steve every day, but we are excited to announce some new faces that we're welcoming to the organization this summer. This morning, we announced that Adolfo Birch will be joining our organization as Senior Vice President of Business Affairs and Chief Legal Officer in mid-July. Many of you may already know or be familiar with Adolfo. He's a native of Nashville, a Vanderbilt Law School graduate, and currently serves on the Vanderbilt Board of Trust. For the past 2 decades, he's served in a variety of leadership roles with the National Football League and our central office in New York. He most recently served as Senior Vice President of Labor Policy and League Affairs. He is just an exceptional world-class leader and sports business mind, and we are thrilled that he is coming home to Nashville to join the hometown team. We also announced that Surf Melendez joined us as Creative Director last week. I really can't do justice to how excited we are to have Surf on board. He will oversee all things brand and creative, digital content, and game day production for the Titans in Mls Stadium. We identified the need for the creative director role in part from watching Surf and his work with Miami Dolphins, and we quite literally built the job description around Surf without really any hope that he would be interested in leaving Miami. But to our delight, he was intrigued by Nashville and the momentum of the Titans organization. And as I said, he joined us last week. He simply put is best in class in the creative director category, and we're excited to see what he brings to the Titans and Mls Stadium. Last but certainly not least, Dan Worley joined us about a month ago as general counsel. I have personally worked with Dan for about 3 years. In my role as general counsel, Dan was an outside attorney that we engaged, and I thought of Dan as my deputy. And he is an exceptional attorney, and I know it's cliche, but he's an even better person. And I'm excited for the board to have a chance to work with him in the coming years. Dan joins us from Nashville Soccer Club, where he served as general counsel for the last year. We recognize that as an organization, we are a product of the talent and quality of our people. So this has been a really a great month for us to be able to bring three incredibly high quality talents on board in important roles. Next, I just want to touch on the 2020 season. No breaking news today, but we are preparing to play the 2020 season on schedule and with fans in attendance. Since early April, we've organized a safe stadium committee that it meets once a week, and in subcommittees much more than that. And it's a group of our employees that serve at the stadium, key vendors, concessionaires, security, St. Thomas Health has representation on that committee. And we have been thinking through how to deliver a healthy and safe experience for players, staff, and fans when the 2020 season rolls around. We're thinking through safe ingress and egress. We have changed out something like 1,500 plumbing fixtures in the stadium in order to go touchless to avoid the spread of germs. We're working on very mundane details like the flow of the building through elevators and escalators and ramps to be sure that social distancing can be maintained to every corner of the stadium. We're reimagining concessions in terms of what we offer and the process of ordering concessions. And all along the way, of course, we're consulting with local and national health experts as we prepare for the 2020 season. So as of today, we're about 8 weeks away from our first home preseason game. I think if we've learned anything during this pandemic, it's that a lot can change in 8 days, let alone 8 weeks. But we are preparing and will be prepared for the 2020 Titans season. With that, I will turn the reins over to Gil Beverly, our Senior Vice President, Chief Marketing and Revenue Officer, to review some of our community impact initiatives.
Great. So, Burke, you want to go to the next slide?
Trying desperately to do that.
All right. So, late in the evening of March 3rd, I was woken from my sleep by my toddler who was screaming into the baby monitor, scared by a thunderstorm that was raging outside of his window. As I got him calmed down and kind of grumpily and saltily drifted back to sleep myself, not appreciating that those were literally the last moments of true normalcy that I would enjoy in 2020 and probably beyond. You guys are familiar with the next part of the story. There was a tornado. The thunderstorm was part of a system that brought a devastating tornado into the heart of Nashville and Middle Tennessee, displacing and endangering thousands of our neighbors. This was on a Tuesday, and by that Sunday, the Titans had made a sizable donation. But equally importantly, we spent 2 long days in the affected neighborhoods, helping with relief efforts, talking directly to people affected, delivering thousands of sleeping bags, blankets, bottles of water, flashlights, batteries, you name it. And we felt like we accomplished a lot, but also that we barely made a dent. And we were literally in the process of making plans for how we might continue to help in the recovery when the COVID-19 coronavirus pandemic hit and leading to a different type of disaster for the area and the world. And then we were just getting ready, or adjusted to the new normal that the virus represented. If you go back, Bert, when the murder of George Floyd and the social unrest and international awakening about the scourge and sickness of racism hit the world. And so by the beginning of this month, like so many of us, I think we all were feeling this just potpourri of crazy emotions, anger, shock, fear, humility, you name it, I think we all felt it. And once we sort of got beyond the sort of self-checking and the empathy and checking in on how everyone was feeling, our attention turned to, well, what do we do about all this, all these generational challenges impacting the region at the same time? And we started with the notion of taking stock of who we felt we are and then applying that affirmatively and making a statement about that. And, you know, Burke, I don't know if we want to risk fate here and try technology, but if you want to try playing the video.
I don't see any means to play the video, Gil.
Okay.
My apologies.
All right. So go to the next slide.
Turn on the video? I mean, well, you have the screen. Never mind, Bert. Sorry.
We'll send that out as well. But if you want to go to the next slide. So as far as sort of defining who we are and who we want to be, you know, we had a campaign, a marketing campaign at the ready for 2020 that we actually scrapped in the face of all the challenges going on in the world. And we have adopted the mantra of Tennessee Tough. We thought it was appropriate, as toughness has been a big part of the Titans' DNA from an on-field perspective since the team got to Nashville in '99 with players such as Steve McNair and Eddie George, Devon Kearse, and many others. But now we wanted to take that equity that we felt we owned and expand it into, you know, talking really about the toughness and resilience and leadership that's going to be required to, you know, help this area come back and emerge from all these challenges. Can I go to the next slide, Burke? You know, part of defining who we are, you know, in the face of everything going on, really started with making a strong statement about racism. You know, a lot of times prior to this year, these issues were spoken around, particularly in, you know, frankly, in the context of the National Football League, and not always necessarily met head on and talked about explicitly. So we wanted to be sure that everyone understood exactly where we stood, and we made this proactive statement coming out of some of the social unrest. And then the video that we were trying to share with you also made it very clear that, you know, we support our players, that we support the notion that Black Lives Matter, and we also support their right for peaceful protest. So beyond making a statement, Burke, if you go to the next slide. You know, as an African-American man myself, I tell you that, you know, one of the things that happened a lot at the beginning of this month was, you know, just the constant questions around what can we do? You know, whether it was other minorities wondering how they can impact things, or whether it was, you know, Caucasian folks asking, you know, how can I learn more? What can I do? And, you know, those are long-term questions that are very multifaceted and complicated. But for the short term, and something we felt we could do immediately was compile a range of resources that we refer to as our We Stand For resource guide. We Stand For is an umbrella mantra that we've used to speak for all the different causes that the Titans and our players and coaches stand for. And in this case, we were compiling these resources to articulate all the different things that we stand for with respect to social and racial justice. So anti-racism resources, articles, book recommendations, movie recommendations, nonprofits, ways that you can get involved, economic opportunities to support Black-owned businesses, and also social media influencers for people to follow. And this is a living and breathing space for us, and we continue to update it as we go. Want to go to the next slide, Burke? No, on June 15th, we took the opportunity, you know, in the midst of all the heavy things going on in the world, to, you know, try to marshal our fan base to celebrate Nashville on, you know, playing off our area code and announcing a day-long celebration of Nashville and our community. And the celebration is one thing, but we wanted it to tie it back to, you know, how do we celebrate our neighbors? How do we celebrate our community in a way that's productive and adds real value? And so we created a special limited edition T-shirt with the proceeds that went to the Titans Foundation to help COVID related relief efforts. And then we also challenge folks to deliver random acts of kindness to their fellow neighbors, to their friends, to the community. And we saw any number of people on social media reporting that they did things like donate blood. We saw people report buying groceries for the people behind them in line, covering restaurant bills for folks. Really just injecting a degree of positivity during a time that's been very, very heavy for a lot of folks. And we felt like this was a very successful play for us and the community at large. You go for it. So, developing our resource guide and our Celebrate 615, again, that was our response to what can we do immediately, which frankly wasn't a ton, just given everything that we're dealing with at the same time. True impact and true change is going to be a longer play and a longer conversation. And with that in mind, under Amy Adams-Strunk's leadership and along with Burke, she's really challenged us to figure out like what is our sustainable play, and how are we going to move from one-off relief efforts to something that will have a more lasting impact on the community at large. And with that in mind, our community efforts used to be housed under a team called Community Relations, and we've recently rebranded that to Community Impact. And the rationale behind that is relating to the community is important, but impacting it is even better. And so as we look towards long-term impact, some of the things that we have in mind are really playing a role in helping to register and turn out voting participation in the November elections. Is something that our players and coaches have identified as something that is very important to them. And we've recently heard that the NFL itself is really looking to get behind those sorts of efforts as well. We're really trying to institutionalize service as a function of, as a business function of the Tennessee Titans. So we're looking at ways to allow our employees and staff to incorporate corporate community service into their work weeks, throughout the year. We are looking to partner with the Museum of African American Music on a fundraiser to help fund causes that will help economic equality in the Black community. And probably most importantly, we want to learn more from community leaders about the various issues that impact Nashville and affect the region. I don't know that we feel like we have all the answers right now. And so we really are looking to do a deep dive, have regular lunch and learns, bring people in to address our staff. And from that dialogue, we're looking to, form new community partnerships that are deeper and more impactful than perhaps things we've done in the past. And that ultimately will lead to sustainable community development. If you go to the last slide, Burke. So at the end of the day, these have been challenging times for us, but they've also been transformational for the Tennessee Titans in the sense that, when we went to help out with the tornadoes, for example, again, it was a lot of hard work on those couple of days, literal heavy lifting, and we felt like we did a lot. But it was bittersweet at the end of the day because we were leaving and we just knew that the job wasn't finished. It was undone. And as we've been hit with more challenges, I think what we've learned is that the job of building a great community is never done, and that it's an ongoing, continuous thing that we have to wake up thinking about and acting on a daily basis. And beyond the individual events that we all do, beyond the individual contributions we all make. And we're really looking to reorient our community impact group on continuous participation within the communities that, again, leads to sustainable change.
That concludes our facility report, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Titans. I apologize. I got kicked off the internet and I'm using my cell phone data. Twists and turns of 2020. I did want, Burke, were you able to acknowledge Steve Underwood and
Yes, we did acknowledge Steve Underwood, but I believe he's still on the line.
Okay, well, good. I'm glad he's still on. I was trying to thank him when when the internet went out, but I did want to just say that, congratulations to Steve on his retirement. He's had a tremendous track record of 40 years with the organization. I know he'll be truly missed, and we'll miss having him at our board meetings. He is always a statesman and has been a true ambassador for professional sports in our state and in our nation. So congratulations, Steve, and Burke, congratulations to you as well. We know that you're the right man at the right time. So again, congratulations.
Kim, thank you. I appreciate your kind words.
Thank you, Kim.
It's good to hear your voice, Steve. Thanks, guys. Okay, we are moving on to the, unless there are any questions.
Madam Chair, this is Kathy Bender, and I just want to make a comment. I just would like to acknowledge that given this unusual environment that we're in right now as a country, that I really do applaud the Titans for some of the staff additions and diverse community initiatives that they are moving into. And I think that it's such a critical time to stand up and partner and show support. So I just really am happy to hear that report, and I really look forward to seeing the outcomes from some of those initiatives. Great job.
Thanks, Kathy. Madam Chair, can I?
Yes, please.
Steve, I want to say a few things that I said at the Finance Committee meeting to you. I've been on the board, I guess, the second longest tenure after Kathy Bender. And when I first came on the board, you were a regular presenter. And then you left, and then you couldn't stay away, and you came back. And your leadership has been outstanding. And I so appreciate, watching you in the past decade when I've actually seen what you've been able to accomplish in the community. And I just want to not only thank you, but I also want to tell you I'm going to miss you. I understand you have left Germantown. Bert told me that. And so I'll miss seeing you around the neighborhood. But thank you for everything that you've accomplished. And I know that you're looking forward to coming back from time to time. And you come when we have a meeting. I hope you'll stop by so we can congratulate you in person. And Burke, I want to welcome you. And I, like Kathy, think that this extensive presentation today, where you mentioned you're rejecting racism in every form, and that you gave a straightforward approach of what you are wanting to accomplish and what you stand for. I am just grateful to you and your team for spending that amount of time with us today. I'm particularly in this centennial women getting the right to vote happening here in Tennessee. I'm particularly glad to see that there is going to be a voting initiative as part of what you're doing. But anyway, welcome, Burke. We look forward to working with you.
Margaret, I want to thank you for your kind words. I'm very grateful.
We'll miss you, Steve.
Thank you, ma'am.
Well said, guys. Thank you so much. And we will now take up the Predators report. I believe Kyle Clayton is going to kick off this portion of the agenda. Kyle?
All right, good morning. Thank you, Kim. It's Kyle Clayton with the Bridgestone Arena and Nashville Predators and Fort Ice Centers. We're going to actually modify our report a little bit and be very brief, just out of respect of everybody's time here today. So I'll kick it off, and then I'll share the mic with Danny Butler real quick to give you an update on Fort Ice Center as we are back open and excited to have folks in the building. But real quick, from a NHL and Bridgestone Arena perspective, many of you have seen the NHL release their return to play program. It's a 24-team tournament that will end with the awarding of the Stanley Cup. Obviously, health and safety of the players and staff is the top priority. It'll be held in 2 hub cities. We're not sure which one we're going to yet, but there'll be one for the East and one for the Western Conference. And essentially what it is 12 teams in each conference will go into a tournament-style tournament, and we'll go in as the 6th seed on the west side, and we'll play in a best-of-5 series against the Arizona Coyotes. So really excited about that. All our fans are really excited, and looking forward to getting back to playing real soon. Right now, the NHL is in their phase 2 of the reopening plan, which is essentially players can come back voluntarily on their own and skate and condition and work out in small groups. So, Bridgestone Arena, the ice is ready to. We have some players coming back soon to start that process. So we're really excited to have them back in the building. Phase 3 for the NHL is training camp, and that will get started on July 10th. So just a couple of weeks away on that. So we're really excited to get going on that. The tournament does not have a start date just yet, so looking forward to continuing with this process. And again, our fans are extremely excited to have something to cheer for. So we'll make sure to provide updates as we go along with the reopening plan. From an event perspective in the arena, we all remember that March 11th was our last event during the SEC tournament. We're continuing to work with all our promoters and everyone else that helps put on these events to try to figure out what makes the most sense. Obviously, we're working with the mayor's office and the Metro Board of Health on our reopening plan, so that way whenever an event is planned and ready to go, we're set and ready. We're working through several different scenarios. David Kells, our SVP of Entertainment and Marketing, actually I think he just had to jump off the call, but he is continuing to work on different scenarios, whether we're going to do some live TV tapings, maybe we do a socially distanced event, some concert of that sort, or just a full-on reopening of an event. We're excited about all of those opportunities and potential ideas. Obviously, nothing has happened since March, and we're continuing to plan for any of those and keep everybody in tune on what's going on there. From a community perspective, as Mary Kavar said so well earlier, we're excited to partner with all the local sports teams, obviously the Governor Lee's office, Mayor Cooper's office, and Mark Ezell, who's serving as the Director of Economic Recovery Group Director, just really to push out this statewide mask campaign. We're using our marketing assets, distributing masks, and really just trying to get behind that campaign and make sure that we slow down the spread of this pandemic. So we have masks available for purchase as well for our fans, so everybody can support that brand and also at the same time help reduce the spread. We're continuing our Feeding the Front Lines initiative, where we partner with some of our corporate partners such as Dunkin' Donuts, Corner Pub, Puckett's, and just to name a few. And really what that program is doing is just providing food for the Metro Police Precincts, fire stations, Vanderbilt Medical Center, Metro General Hospital, and many others. And we do that weekly. So it's a fun project that we've been working on since the pandemic started. And just a real quick fun thing that we're doing right now, actually it just ended. So we won our first virtual Stanley Cup. We ran a simulated series through the NHL 20 platform online. And the Stanley Cup final ended last Thursday, and actually broadcasted that on Fox Sports. And so we won the virtual Stanley Cup this year, and we're happy to say we'll raise the banner soon. So look forward to doing that real soon. That's really all I've got. Again, just trying to be brief here. And I'll turn it over to Danny Butler to really get into the meat and talk about Fordyce Center and all the exciting things that we have going on over there as we're opening back up.
Thanks, Kyle. Danny Butler, Vice President, General Manager, Fordyce Center with Nashville Predators. Like Kyle said, really excited. We were able to open Fordyce Centers. We opened Fordyce Center Bellevue on June 15th, and we opened Fordyce Center Indianapolis. What was most important to us, and the reason we opened them at 2 different times, to make sure that we opened safely and really knew what we were doing before we went ahead and opened full capacity. So we brought our staff back into the building the week prior to opening Bellevue and make sure the building was ready, and then opening up. So the first week that we were open in Bellevue, we really ran a modified schedule. I typically talk on these meetings that we open at 5 o'clock in the morning, we close at 1 o'clock in the morning, we have 1,000 things going on during the day. We really modified that schedule back, especially that first week. But all of our programming, typically there's about a 10 to 15 minute window between programs for people to get off the ice and go to the ice to get more people. We've taken the time to add at least 30 to 45 minutes to all of our programming to make sure people can get into the building, get dressed, get out of the building for another week. So, though we're still open from 5 o'clock to about 1 o'clock right now, our program is significantly modified. So when we opened Antioch on this past Monday, so we won't have Antioch for 4 days now, we were able to return to a lot of our normal programming. As the city entered into phase 3, our group was supposed to about that. So we're allowed to bring back our youth leagues, our adult leagues, our emergency. And we're operating those out of both buildings. So our adult leagues were paused in the middle of their season, right in the middle of March. So we're going ahead and finishing our winter spring season this summer. Our youth leagues had just started the week that we closed the building. So again, we're going to continue to keep the state on through the summer and new seasons, and then the same thing with roller skate. But our adult leagues are back, and that's been really exciting. You know, I watched our first adult league game Monday night, and one of the captains for the team said, you know, I know we can be a pain at times, but we really appreciate it. I assume, Jad, you feel the same way after your game last night. Hope you're not too sore this morning. But you know, bringing people back into our building was really important, but it was even more important to do so. And you know, we gave ourselves plenty of time. We worked very closely with Vanderbilt to develop I think it's a 25-day plan to operate our facility during this time. So we have signage throughout the facility that tells you how to come in the building, how to leave the building, where you should be standing, how to get dressed, what you should be doing in the building. In addition, all of our programs, you must be pre-registered. We're not allowing anybody to come in the building and walk around and visit. We need to know who's in the building and why they're in the building and what they're doing. So it really is important for us to do all that. So if you, I'd invite you to come see it, but if you're not signed up for the program, we really can't get you in. But as we continue and grow through this and understand how the building functions, we will slowly add more programming back to the facility. So the week after the 4th of July, we do have I believe it's our 10th or 11th annual Fred's Hockey School, which is a hockey camp that we operate ourselves. Typically, we operate that with about 150 kids in the camp. We're reducing that number to 40. But it's exciting that we are able to continue. So as we continue to go through this, we'll continue to add programs to what we're doing with hopefully the opportunity to be back where we were in a couple of months. So a lot of fun things happening at Worley Center, and we are definitely excited to be open and move forward.
Thank you, Danny.
Any questions?
No questions, but I would make a quick comment, Danny. I have to give you guys kudos. This is Jad Duncan. You guys have done an excellent job in opening up those ice centers. Was there last night with my son for youth league, and then the night before in men's league. And I have to tell you, everything went really smoothly. And you know, given the current environment, obviously that we're all experiencing, you know, it's about as smooth as a process as you guys could make it, and it's good for some normalcy to get back out on some ice. So thanks for what your crew is doing. You guys have done. You guys have knocked it out of the park with that. And yeah, I'm a little bit sore for 3 months. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you, Director Duncan, for that insight and showing off that you're still out on the ice. That's impressive. Thanks, guys, for the presentation. Are there any other questions for the Preds? Seeing none, we will hear, last but not least, from our friends at the Nashville Sounds and First Horizons Park. I think Adam Neuse, General Manager, is going to kick it off, and then we'll hear from Doug Scopel, VP of Operations. Adam?
Hey, yeah, Kim, we're both here. It'll be on my line, so you'll see my voice. But if I can get control of the screen, we have a brief PowerPoint, so if Kevin can share that with me, that'd be great.
I guess, while it's getting pulled up, some of the stuff that's not on the slide is an initiative that we've been talking about the last 24 hours, which is a plan to play baseball at First Horizon Park. Kind of unique idea that we've been working on for a few months now that would basically have us starting to pay players and bring players into the ballpark to play. Typically, we have the Rangers supply all our players, but we were kind of running out of patience on Major League Baseball to agree to anything, so we started trying to make our own league and try to create our own destiny for this season. And the original plan was we were going to announce it Monday, but Jason Stark with The Athletic leaked the information on Tuesday night, which has kind of got us in the tailspin lately trying to figure it out. But ultimately, the concept is that we're going to play 40 games all at home. It'll be the Nashville Sounds versus a to-be-determined other team. But most of these guys are going to be Major League Baseball, former Major League Baseball players, some AAA players. So the talent will be every bit of what's expected. If you come to a Sounds game, maybe even better. So big priority, big question that comes up, recognizing that we are a Metro facility. We're going to make sure we follow all the rules, and Doug does a great job of staying in communication with the Metro Health and the mayor's office. And through all this, we'll make sure we're cooperating. And the hope is that we open up the ballpark to about 25%, maybe a little less than that, but got some plans that the health department's kind of approved. Have somewhere between 1,800 and 2,200 in the ballpark. We certainly like the 11,000 a lot better, but the 2,200 still a step in the right direction, and hopefully it gives us an opportunity to kind of lead the way for our friends on this call with Titans and Preds and Nashville SC to kind of see what this looks like as fans start entering our facilities again. And the hope is that we start July 23rd, play all the way to September 26th. And again, 40 games, 10 weeks in a row of it. So I think that's kind of the conclusion of that. The next part is happy to answer any questions with that. But the other part that's on the slide is a new sports bar that back in October was a good idea to open. And since then, we've been questioning ourselves a little bit, but we're finally opening it up. It's originally planned to be open the first week of April. Got it open. It's called Third and Home. It's owned by the owner of the Sounds, Frank Ward, and operated by some of us on staff, but separate entity from the ballpark. But it's going to be open every day, unlike the bandbox. We're going to have it open every day for folks to come. Overlooks the ballpark. So selfishly saying that I think it's the best view in all of town. It's going to be a great sports bar with 28 TVs, beautiful view at the ballpark. There's going to be kind of a sports book component to it that'll make it a little bit unique. It'll be free sports book, so hopefully kind of gives us a platform if things start becoming legal and the lottery figures out and what the parameters are there. We might kind of incorporate more of that sports book vibe of just kind of making it a little more fun and a little bit unique to what else is out there in Nashville. So
Tell you the truth, I don't know if I've actually sat and watched
garage doors,
that movie.
all the stuff to be nice and trendy. So I think the next one's for Doug with the scoreboard, but happy to answer any questions on it. Oh, the opening day for it is tomorrow. So we'll be up and running. We got some media at lunch today, and so we invite everybody on this call to come. We'd love to host you.
And the last update I want to give for us, I'm jumping around a little bit, is just an update on our scoreboard. I think on our update a couple months ago, gave you a rundown.
Hey,
Yes.
Doug, can I just ask a couple questions about the Third and Home? When does it open tomorrow? You said, since we're encouraging folks, what time tomorrow and what are the hours? It's every day?
It'll
How
be
do you
open every
access it?
day. Every day. I think it'll be open for lunch and dinner, and then well into the night.
So there's a separate entrance specific to the.
Correct.
Yeah, I was
So
just trying to
it'll be on
visualize
3rd
where it
Avenue.
is.
Yeah, so the entrance will be on 3rd Avenue.
Well, that makes sense now.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, that's
so in between.
exciting. It's good to hear you guys are being creative with trying to get bodies back in the ballpark, and certainly safety is everyone's paramount concern. And it's good to hear you're working closely with Metro Health to get a path for a safe return. So I just want to say tremendous work there. And if you'll please just, you said lunch tomorrow, and then what are your hours?
I believe open up for lunch, and then I don't think we have a designated closing time. We'll keep it open as long as people are there.
Great. And good to hear.
If you could keep your fingers crossed that we get to phase 4, we would appreciate that.
I've got everything crossed.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, I'm sorry, Doug. Go ahead. Look forward to hearing about the scoreboard.
Yeah, the real quick thing, I just want to, when we gave our presentation a couple months ago, we ran down a lot of the tornado damage, and I wanted to let everybody know, you could see the screen there, the side by side, what it looked like after the tornado. And then now they finished the work on it last week. It's fully up and running, and it's even better than it was before. We're looking forward to seeing what all the new improved look can do for our various events we do here at the ballpark. And in general, the repairs of the ballpark are probably, I don't even know what the percentage is, but it's almost completely done. There's just a few things left to check off the box as we kind of work through all that. So that's pretty much our update, unless you guys have any questions.
I do have a question, and I'm sure maybe some other board members do too. With the, it looks like it's enhancements to the guitar scoreboard, which was already a lot of fun and tremendous. We're hearing more about people, being creative in facilities. Is there any thought for other events, just utilizing, the scoreboard and maybe as a video option to get fans in, and I don't know if it's what that would be, but I'm sure you guys you're creative and looking at all sorts of options. Is that anything you're considering?
Yeah, it certainly is, and as we look to see what all we can program in the building, we even when we have a full baseball season, that's only 70 dates. That leaves us a whole bunch of dates where we can do other things, and the scoreboard obviously is our biggest marquee item here. And when we've had concerts here in the past, they've utilized the scoreboard as part of their presentation. We've used it when the marathon runs through the ballpark. We have it up and running in live video of some of the runners, and there's a whole bunch of different ways we can use it. Absolutely, and we continue to think through those now in this time of not having minor league baseball, as we think, what can we do in the near future as we get back to being able to host events here.
Sure. Well, and my thought was just, if there are events going on in our other facilities that, we need to spread people out and safely have a way to participate, maybe just to consider those options too. But I'm really proud of all the work you guys are doing, and personally, just can't wait to step foot back in that park. So tremendously miss it here. Are there any questions from other board members for Adam or Doug? Or comments?
Maybe I should take him back to the big one where.
Thanks, guys. That wraps up our facilities portion. We are at the end, believe it or not. Thank you so much for all participating today and bearing with us through a few technology hiccups. And we, looks like this will hopefully be our last virtual, perhaps, meeting. We should get back on track. We're scheduled to meet our regular time in July. However, sounds like we've heard from the MLS project folks that there might be a need to have a special called meeting since there's some documents for us to review. So please, as soon as we know more information, we will try and work with the board and our staff. So thank you guys for being flexible, and please as soon as we hear more, we will work with you on trying to get a date that date and time or venue. Everything's on the table at this point. We also have a Women's Sports Initiative Subcommittee. We're trying to get meetings soon, hopefully as early as next week. Monica will provide the dates and times for these upcoming meetings. Again, thank you all for participating today. I know we're super eager for a safe return for our sports facilities and fans and all of us to be together. So please keep well. And if there is no other business, we would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
This is Don Deering. I missed the opening there, and I just wanted to say I am blessed to be a new member of the Sports Authority. Look forward to meeting everyone. Sorry we've had to do everything virtually. I've learned a lot about Zoom and WebEx and webinar in the last few weeks. So it looks like that's the way of doing business these days from home. But anyway, I look forward to everybody, seeing everybody face to face, and just wanted to say hello to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Colonel Daring. We look forward to serving with you and Glenn, and also welcome you all to the board. Are there any other comments from colleagues?
Madam Chairman.
Yes, sir. Secretary Wynn.
I would also, if I might, say that I look forward to working with the new members of the board. And I know this is not an easy way to handle business right now. I have had a few difficulties myself getting on board, but we just welcome and we be glad when we can get together and see each other face to face. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Okay, guys, we really appreciate your patience and bearing with us. And if there's nothing further, we will adjourn.
No move.
All right, we're done.
Bye.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information about this and other programs, visit nashville.org.